Can't put on Goodreads, but it's fine. It's a riot, right? Sad. I'm just like, girl. I want to hold another breath at this point. Excited. Filling all my senses. I just made a very split-second decision that I am going to be reading for 24 hours. I have been watching a lot of reading vlogs lately. I have like a very full watch later playlist, and I haven't been reading a lot this month because I am in finals and it has been a very stressful time. Basically, this weekend have a lot of reading to do. Like, I have to read a book for school, but it's like a normal book, like for fun. So I was like, well, I have to read a book. I don't like also try to read as many books as I can in 24 hours. So I'm reading Rainbow Valley. This is the somethingth book in Anne of Green Gables series. I'm reading this for another video. I'm like less than 100 pages from finishing this book. I won't really be telling you how these books are going when I'm reading them today, or in this 24-hour period, but I will let you know. I'm reading it. So this is the main book I have to read, which is How High We Go in the Dark. I have to read this for class because I chose this as my short story collection. Even though it's a novel, it's lying to you. It's lying to you. It's false advertising. So I have to read this for class and write a cute little book review, which is like, have I ever written a book review before in my life? Absolutely not. Like, never. Like, never. Not like I do that like for a job. Anyway, I'm going to be reading this and annotating it as well. The other books, my audiobook is currently romantic comedy, and I'm really enjoying this book. I'm like halfway through it. Basically, I've kind of come to the conclusion there now exists like two different types of 24-hour readathons. Like back in my day there was one and that was like you read for 24 hours straight, but that is no longer the case. Now there is a quirky little thing where you set a timer on your phone. My phone's right there. You only keep the time going if you're reading, and then you stop it if you're not reading. Does that make sense? Cool. That's what's going on. Those are the 3 books I'm in the middle of right now. I also have other books that I would like to read, so of course I do. Right now I'm gonna go on a long walk because I'm trying out, I want to go on this new running route for my long run, and I'm gonna just walk it today to see how it works. And I'm gonna listen to my audiobook, romantic comedy. This is about a late night comedy writer who falls in love with one of the guest stars. It's very cute so far. So I'm gonna order like a donut or something, like a gluten-free donut. I also have a Pub Club launch today. My name is gonna be in a book, guys. It's crazy. So I got back. I had a quick cup of tea, so it's not very hot. I walked, I don't know, like 5 miles. My watch died at some point. Yeah, like 6 miles. I had a donut. It was lovely. I had a little breakfast burrito, but I finished romantic comedy on my walk. It's 4 out of 5 stars. I really, okay, I don't like how much of an influence the pandemic had on this book because I generally don't like the pandemic vibes in books. I like forgetting that that happened. Like, I don't like thinking about it. I like when books are like 2020, like what? But this book was like heavily influenced by the panorama. I didn't love that. And then there was like an epistolary part of the book that was like a huge section of it. It was cute and quirky for a little bit, and then it was annoying. I liked it. I thought the chemistry was really great between the characters. I really like Funny You Should Ask, and this was like a very similar book, so I liked that. It was good. I give it 4 stars. I also read some more of Opal and Nev, which is called The Final Revival of Opal and Nev. Sorry, I never gave the full title. I read like 10% more of this to have more audiobook time, but I am going to finish up Rainbow Valley while I'm here because this is going to take me less than an hour. And yeah, did I tell you I like vacuumed as well? I lit a candle. I'm doing amazing. It's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, but killing it. Sir, I took a shower. I took a shower because I felt icky after my walk, but I did finish Rainbow Valley, gave it 4 stars. Full update in the vlog, but I only have like less than 100 pages left, so not much happened to change my thoughts on it. But the next book I'm gonna read, I've like already finished 2 books today. That's on the back. I am going to read the rest / all of How High We Go in the Dark. Like I said, I've started this, the second time I've started this, but I am reading this. It is a kind of, not apocalypse, it's a plague story that is affecting mostly young people, and each chapter or each story is kind of its own separate story about people whose lives are affected by this and how they're affected, people are doing to cope, I guess. So yeah, lots of themes of grief and panoramas and sad stuff. So I am only in the first story. Like I said, I just restarted this and I'm tabbing it. So I have my cute little blue tabs. I really love these, they're so pretty. So I am going to start back on this. I also have the audiobook, so I'm probably gonna listen and read at the same time because that's what I like to do. And I will probably update you when I'm about 100 pages in, at least farther than I've been before. So that is my promise to you, and I will see you then. Hi friends, I'm back. It's me. I'm gonna sit down. Sorry. Friends, family, how are we doing? Let me turn on the light. Hi friends, I'm back. I went to Pub Club, got the generic magazine. Basically my school's publishing club. This is what I'm in. And we published our books. This is the one I worked on. It's called The Neural Network. You can add it on Goodreads. I did like stop my timer or my stopwatch while I was in that because I wasn't reading. Almost 7.5 hours in. And because I was listening to my audiobook for the final arrival of Opal and Nev. I have like less than an hour left of listening to that. I listened to that while I was commuting and I went to Target, but I'm gonna go back to reading How High We Go in the Dark. I am really enjoying this. I am 100 pages in, so let me give you my review. I'm 100 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. I'm in the 4th story and interested to see how the stories are going to be connected. I didn't really like the 3rd story, I will say. It's called Through the Garden of Memory, so I think that's the one that is like where the title comes from. Best 3 out of 4. So I'm gonna get back to reading because this is not reading and I need to be reading. This is gonna come as a shock to most people, but we're 9.5 hours in and I have finished another book. So I finished How High We Go in the Dark. This was a really good collection. I think collections like this are probably going to be more of my favorites. I don't read short story collections in general because I don't like short stories. I said it before, I'll say it again. This one is very interconnected. None of the chapters like will repeat the same like narrator, but they will be like adjacent to previous characters. So like someone's brother or cousin or ex-husband or something like that. They will be like interconnected in that way. And it was so interesting, and like the way the plot progressed as a whole was interesting because it like kind of is linear. Well, it is like linear in a like chronological sense, but then it's also like connects back to the beginning. It was interesting. It was a good time, but I give it 4 stars. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is finish my audiobook because I know I can finish that because it's like less than an hour of listening time. I think that might be like the last thing I'll get done today. Yeah, so I'm gonna listen to more of the final revival of Opal and Nev and let you know when I have finished it or when I'm done reading for the day, whichever comes first. For tonight, I'm ending at 10 hours and 26 minutes. I finished the final revival of Opal and Nev. It was kind of all over the place. It was ambitious, but I don't feel like it hit. Give it 3 stars. It wasn't the best. I didn't love it. I finished 4 books today. Okay. Anyway, 4 books in 10.5 hours. I'm gonna go to sleep now and we'll start up the clock. Hello my friends. We are 5.5 hours in. I'm actually gonna stop it because I'm not reading, I'm talking to you. Did I say 5.5? It's 15.5. Oh my god. Finished. All adults here. I tabbed this book. I wasn't planning on tabbing it, but I found these tabs and I just thought that they really matched. I was also reading this and this is a great book. I gave it 5 stars. I read This Time Tomorrow, which is Emma Straub's latest book a couple weeks ago, and I was like, okay, so this is like a new author to me alert. Like, I am excited. I already had this one. I know I have Vacationers at my vacation home. This is the one I had, so I was like, I'm gonna read this. And it's about a family. It is about specifically kind of following a mother and her 3 grown children, their children and their lives. And it's about being an adult and what that means, what it means to be grown up, and what that means about the decisions you're making, how you are living your life, and conducting yourself, and it is very good. It's really, really good. So I really enjoyed it. My favorite character was probably Cecilia because she was just me. And she was just like this kid who just feels like she needs to be an adult. And like the kids in this book were so smart and so good because she did such a great job of like balancing the like kids being kids and like playing silly games and doing silly things with also just like the way that a kid can grow up like that. And yeah, it was so good. I really loved it. So I read that. Now I have like much more time. I have like a little less than 10 hours left to go of reading. I actually have to read, I'll put my timer back on when I'm reading. I have to read some like peer stuff and do like my critiques for class. I'll read some other people's short stories. Can't put on Goodreads, but it's fine. But I do think the next book I'm gonna pick up, I just saw this on my shelf and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I think I'm gonna pick up Better Together because I'm in the mood for a romance, but I don't have one with me and I want to physically read. So there's that. But this I know has a romance. And I am in the mood for like a YA contemporary. This is probably gonna be my last YA contemporary. It's the last day of the month. So there's that. But also before I write my book, because I'm writing YA contemporary and I don't like reading the genre that I'm currently writing because I don't want to just like produce a copy of Better Together. No one wants to read that. So this is about two sisters. I believe it's like a Parent Trap style story. They're both on the cover and they are like separated at birth, I'm assuming. Do they meet at a camp? I think they meet at a camp. They meet at a Rediscover Yourself retreat in Colorado. They're kind of from opposite sides of the country. And yeah, I'm very interested. I really enjoyed Christine Ricci's first book. I'm not sure if this one is more new adult. I could probably read and find out. I know her first book was new adult. It has a little, oh. I do just really love Christine. I love her writing videos and following in her process. All my interactions with her have been super awesome. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Quite long, but I know, yeah, like this page, like this is like an email chain, so like it has like those kind of sections. I'm not worried about how long it's gonna take me. This is gonna be my next book. I'm gonna go read for class for a little bit and then start my reading for funsies. Y'all, I am 18 and a half-ish hours into this. I'll pause it because I'm talking. I am reading Better Together. I'm on page 263. This book is so funny. It is so ridiculous and it is like constantly making me like laugh out loud, physically have to like talk to myself like about this book, which doesn't happen often. I'm just like, girl. This is funny. This shit's so funny. I said before, I think I told you, it is like a Parent Trap kind of story. So like our two main characters, they meet at this like retreat and they find out they're sisters, and like the way that they are sisters is so fucked. Like the parents in this, if you don't like books where like adult figures like suck, you won't like this book because they're like ridiculously bad at being humans and like caring maybe for people. So like their parents just like they just like gaslit them. It's not funny, but it's crazy. Like this book is crazy. And then what happens is they have like a Freaky Friday thing as well. So like they switch places, do the whole like Lindsay Lohan thing, they cut the hair, pierce the ears, that sort of stuff. But then the Freaky Friday thing happens and they literally like look exactly like the other person. And I should have seen this coming. I forgot. It literally says Freaky Friday meets a Parent Trap, and like if I could read, like that would be helpful. But I forgot that Christine likes putting like these magical little twists in her books and they're so funny. Anyway, so we have our two main characters who are like could not be more polar opposites. So we have Jamie, who's like outgoing extrovert. She's like a stand-up queen. She's so funny. I love her. Oh my god, she's so like me when I'm feeling extroverted. I love her. She's from Los Angeles. She's so funny. And then I love Siri. Siri's our other queen. She's from Jersey. Well, they're both from Jersey, but it doesn't matter. And she is a ballerina, but she just injured her back and now she can't dance anymore. So she's kind of like having a crisis. Like, she lost her best friend and her boyfriend in one fell swoop. Like, she is just like struggling. I just am loving this book. I love the romances in here. They each have their own romance plot, which I'm loving. Just the way the dialogue is written and like the little like quirks that they each have are so fun. And I'm just really like, I'm suspending my disbelief to nobody's business in reading this book, and it's making it like the most enjoyable experience. So I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I'm having a great time. I have to go make dinner, but I wanted to let you know that I'm like, these are long books. Like, Christine takes her time. She takes her time laying out the story. She gives you all the details of like making a pizza. But you know what? Once you put those toppings on, you put it in the oven, it's delicious. I was trying to go for a metaphor and I kind of half-assed that one, gonna be honest. She is so opposite of me as a writer. Like, I'm like, let me put in like, I'll put in all the details later, but let me get out like the bare bones of it and like let you figure it out as the reader. But she just like gives you everything, and I can appreciate that as well. But yeah, this is like a chunky book. It's like 450 pages. I really don't think anyone is writing books like this. Like, this is so fucking funny and I love it. I'm having a freaking blast. And then I think I will have time to read another book. I don't know what that's gonna be. I'm already thinking about it because of course I am, because I'm a future-oriented thinker. I like don't want to finish this, but I also like can't wait to see the ending. It's a wild freaking ride. So wild, so fun. Guys, it is officially almost 21 hours into the readathon and I finished another book. So Finished Better Together, I give this 4 out of 5 stars. If you suspend your disbelief, this book is a riot. It's a old riot, right? It's great. If you don't, it might be a different experience. It might be another story. I had a blast. So I gave it 4 stars. I like couldn't stop smiling reading this book. Was it silly? Absolutely, but it's what I was here for. So I have now a little less than 4 hours, and I think I can read one more book. I think. I don't have any other like physical books I want to read, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to my handy dandy iPad. It's my cute little iPad mini that I love to death. I haven't read on here in a while for reasons, but I do think I have a book on here that I would be interested in reading if I could pull it up for you all. Okay, so I think what I want to read is Mother Thing, because I kind of want a horror. I want a shorter book, and this is like a shorter horror that I think I'm genuinely gonna like. So it is on the shorter side. My iPad says it's 260 pages. The audiobook, which I also have because I love filling all my senses. Audiobook, which I also have, I think is 7 hours. 7 hours, almost exactly, 7:01. And I listen to it at 3 times speed, so that's bang, bang, boom, a little more than 2 hours, which is, again, like, what am I gonna do for the last 2 hours of the readathon? I don't know. I don't know. That's my hope. That's my goal. I have my 2 things. So yeah, I'm going to read for about an hour and then probably go to sleep and then finish up the reading tomorrow. Guys. Hello friends. This reading challenge is officially over. 24 hours. So let's do a little like recap and then I'll talk about what I read. So I think it's pretty understandable. How many books did I read? Like 7? I read 24 hours over a couple of days, and this worked so well for me because it made me focus on reading during my reading time, and it also like reinvigorated my love of reading in some ways. Like, I haven't been physically reading a lot lately. I haven't even been reading that much like in April, so this helped a lot, let me just say. The lighting's going in and out because it's cloudy today. I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books, and I started a 8th book. So I think it's pretty understandable that I can read 7 books in 24 hours, like if I just am reading during that time, because books are typically like 300 pages, like it doesn't take that long to read that. That's like reading a book every 3 hours, but I also like was halfway through these anyways. But I do think like I reinvigorated my love of reading, and like I really got my reading mojo back. And so yeah, I read a bunch of books and it was great. It like was a great like send off to April, squeezing some more books in there, and also just like to a really stressful couple of weeks in the tail end of my semester. So it was like a nice little break, so it was lovely. So I'm going to go through all the books that I finished. Some of them I have here with me, some of them I don't, as you know. The first book that I finished was my first audiobook, and that was romantic comedy. I listened to most of this while I was on my cute little hawker walk, and this one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was cute, but some parts of it were a little bit annoying, a little bit too focused on the pandemic, and yeah, but overall it was good. Then I finished How High We Go in the Dark. I basically read this from start to finish because I started it again. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars as well. I really enjoyed some of the stories. A couple of them were not my favorite, but I do think that it's a really solid collection as a whole. I really did enjoy this. Especially my favorite ones were City of Laughter, Melancholy Nights in a Tokyo Virtual Cafe, The Scope of Possibility, and Pig Son. So those are some of my favorites from the collection, but I did really enjoy this collection. I wrote a whole review of it that I had to submit for class, but it was a good one, and it really surprised me, and it was a good time. So then I finished the final revival of Opal and Nev. This book took me a really long time to read, and I think that's part of the reason why I didn't enjoy it so much. I think it was trying to do a lot of different things, and I feel like it lacked focus because of how many different things it was trying to do. It was trying to be a Daisy Jones style like expose of a band, but it also was like bringing this band together and also tackling other issues, and like there's the like familial connection too between the person who's making the book and the person, or the documentarian kind of interviewer, and the band itself. And then there's also like these chapters of just like the interworkings of trying to make this book come to be, and like that whole plot line, and it was just too much. So I give this 3 out of 5 stars. Then I finished Rainbow Valley. I read those for my Anne reading vlog, which is coming up. I'm like halfway through it, so don't worry about it. No one's holding their breath at this point. But I finished Rainbow Valley. This was my least favorite of the Anne books. Sad, because it like didn't focus on Anne at all, and yeah. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Better Together by Christine Riccio. This book is like outrageous, and every time I'm trying to describe this book, I've been like, why did I even enjoy this? But I enjoyed the heck out of this book. It was very fun. It is so silly. Like, do not take this book seriously at all, because if you do, you'll just see too many faults in it, and I just don't think that's the scope, the lens that you need to read this book in. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a cute story. I liked the romances in here. I liked the sisterhood relationship, and I liked the magic. Then I read All Adults Here by Emma Straub. This is my second Emma Straub book, and she is quickly becoming like one of my new favorite like authors, or like an author I keep wanting to read from. This one I really enjoyed. I really liked the exploration of adulthood here and the complexities of it. I like that we had like a younger character, like a kid who had to act like an adult, and how all the adults didn't really act like adults, or what that even means. I liked the discussions around motherhood and sibling relationships and romantic relationships. Like, I think it had so many great discussions going on in here that I really, really enjoyed, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I'm really loving Emma Straub, so it's no surprise that I love this one and tapped it. The last book that I finished for this video, or during this 24-hour period, was Mother Thing. Unfortunately, I didn't love this as much as I wanted to. I think it's something about them, like, mother relationship. Like, I just feel like this one was weird to me. I mean, it was weird in general, which was like what I like in horror a lot of the time. We have a young woman who, her mother-in-law dies, and she had recently like moved in with her, and like this mother-in-law obviously hated her, and she's kind of being haunted by her husband's being haunted by this mother as well a little bit, and she just kind of like wants to forget about her. She's just like, can we just like move on with our lives? Like, I want to have a baby. She's like obsessed with like having a baby, starting a family, becoming a mother, and you kind of unpack why that is and what this intense like obsession does to her. I don't know. It could have like, I love Unhinged Women, but I do think like, let me see other reviews for it, because I am never like content with how I feel after I finish a book. Like, I need to like, I'm so easily swayed by other people's opinions about books. not in general, but about books. People really like this book. I don't know, it just didn't hit for me. I don't know, something about books, sometimes they just don't hit, and like I feel like I saw what it was trying to do, and I just didn't feel like it got there. Maybe it just wasn't horror enough for me. I don't know. There are parts of it that I enjoyed, and like they would be spoilers for me to tell you like what parts I enjoyed and would have liked to see more of, so I'm not going to do that, but like it just didn't hit. It just didn't hit like I was expecting it to hit. So I gave it 3 stars. I did also, as you saw, I had like, I don't know, like 5-10 more minutes left of my time. So I started Yours Truly. I am a whopping 3% in. So you know, I think like audiobooks were a great way to use like my time. Like it's so like weird just to just sit and read for 24 hours. Like that is nuts. And like I felt like I was going a little bit crazy when I was not listening to audiobooks because I was like just sitting still. And that's just like not the place I was at this week during this vlog. I'm acting like it's a weekly reading vlog. Anyway, it wasn't. I'm not lying. It was not a week. So audiobooks were a definite must, so I could do other things. But yeah, it was kind of lovely to just like eat, sleep, and read. And that was fun. So yeah, that is all for this version of a 24-hour readathon. I have not done one like this before. I will probably do it again because it's a heck of a lot easier and more successful than like just not sleeping and like pulling an all-nighter to read. Like that just does not sound fun to me anymore. But let me know which one you prefer, if you want to see more, if you want me to do a 48-hour version. I just saw Throne of Pages do one and I was like, Isabella, why'd you have to do that to me? Yeah, anyway, that is all for this vlog. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe to all the things, and I will see you in my next video.